Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of the Just Seen podcast. Today, today I want to talk about blackness, right? Being black, what it is to be black. Not like on that level of the quote unquote woke shit, but I just really want to talk about blackness. What inspired this was that I seen a post. I cannot make this shit up. I seen a post in which what I would deem a black woman said, basically, she said, I am, the gist of it, I can't even remember the word for it anymore. The gist of it was, I'm not black, I'm light skinned. She said, I'm not black, I'm light skinned. So does my life matter too, along those lines. So it was like, and then some of the I guess the follow-up comment was like, she disconnected herself to reconnect herself to being black. So it was like, my gears just started turning. It was like, in that one post, in that one tweet, whatever it was, she literally saw blackness as both the skin and the essence simultaneously. So then it got me thinking, when we're calling ourselves black, when people are calling us black, is that line blurred? Is as us within the culture who are black, when we're saying we're black, are we referring to the essence and we're speaking to people who only refer to the color? And I say that on the strength that when I call myself a black man and I would say I only date black women, people would say, well, I don't see color. And I'm not speaking on the color. Yes, my skin is brown. I get that. And I'm a black man. I never got that because I would tell people I'm black and they're like, no, you're brown. No, bitch, I'm black. Like, the fuck, I'm a black man. No, you're brown. So that never really hit me until this moment. And I was like, are we really, not that we should give a fuck, but are we really arguing with people who identify black as skin and not essence? And are we from the point, because we're inside it, honoring the essence that we see on a regular basis? So when we say we're black, we don't put the skin tone to it because we're honoring it from the essence. But when outside people say that, are they seeing the skin? And like I said, I say that because they say, well, what about black on black crime? They're speaking from skin on skin. They're not talking about essence on essence. Because if they were talking about essence on essence, they would know that when you have been assimilated and indoctrinated into a Caucasian culture, your essence is not black anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So they're speaking on it from the skin tone. So that post just kind of, it got my gears turning. And I say, you know what? I got to do a podcast on that. Are we like, and even within the culture, because like when I looked at the shorty who said that, she was like, I'm not black, I'm light skinned, but I'm black too. I'm not black, I'm light skinned, so does make sure my life matters too because I'm black. It's like, duh, but why would you not say that? So that's what I really kind of want to talk about today. Blackness, the essence versus the skin color, because do we even know? You feel what I'm saying? And then so when we're having these conversations, I'm pro-black, are the people who don't like that pro-black shit we do, even black people who don't like the pro-black shit we do, are they seeing the skin? And while we're professing the essence. You feel what I'm saying? And this is why we like, they want our rhythm but not our blues. I wish you like black people as much as you like black culture. No, they hate the skin. They love the essence. They hate the skin. In addition, you feel what I'm saying? And then some hate the skin and the essence. That's where, you get your racist from, because we just ain't got it. But have we truly sat down and collectively defined and said, look, as black people, we're black because of our essence? And I'm gonna get into why I say this, the essence and everything too. But this was just an intro to tell y'all what I'm talking about. So before I go into it, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get everything that is me. If you are into trading, and you would like to learn how to trade, on my website, you can sign up for my next live webinar. I have them every other Thursday. As long as you sign up and you're in the email list, you'll get the emails and you'll get the sequence when I'm coming out with the next one. As of this recording, There will be one, let me see, because this will be released. It'll be one tomorrow. So by the time you're hearing this tomorrow, that one will be up and going. But like I said, if you want to learn how to trade, you can sign up for the email list. So that way, you can be in there. Be sure to get my book, So Frail: A Reality to Black Male Masculinity, So Frail: Too Toxic Femininity, and Hitting It Raw, Living a Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. What else? Get my merch, Just Sings merch. You can find all of that in the link of the description on my Facebook, my Instagram page, or you could just go to IamJustSing.com. And, you can find everything that is me, all my social media connections and everything there. All right. So before we get started, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to hop back into Blackness, the essence or the color. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSing.com. There you can get all things Just Sing. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSing.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSing.com. You ever want to just chat with Sing about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSing.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSing.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSing.com. All right. Welcome back. Let's dive straight into this because this is a very, very important topic. Very, very important topic because, like I said, I see so many people be like, yo, I'm not black, I'm OJ. No, I'm bullshit. They be like, nah, I'm not, I'm black, I'm light skinned, or I'm brown skinned, like I'm brown. And I'm like, yo, bitch, I'm brown too. Like the level of my melanin complexion is brown, but I'm a black man. And when we talk about, black and brown people, I'm like, are we talking about the skin or the essence? Because we still have different essences. You feel me? We still have different essences. Blackness is more denoted towards Africoid. Brownness is more denoted towards indigenous. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, are we missing that? You know what I mean? Are we missing that somewhere? And because we're relegating it to color, solely on color. Because when I look at, the black and brown, coalition and shit like that, I don't really, they have their own shit they got to deal with. So I fucks with, what they got to go through, but they're not black. So their issues are my immediate issues. And I can't necessarily attach to that and, coincide with that. But, the point of that is like, we're so busy worrying about color. And we're not seeing the essence. We have different essences naturally, right? So when I consider, like I said, that post was one of the things that started it. But another thing that got it was like, motherfuckers keep trying to call me a person of color. Bitch, I'm black. I'm not a person of color. I'm not a person of color. And it's like, well, where does the color part come from? Because at this point, they're trying to take away the essence of it all. You feel me? When they're trying to take away the essence of it all by relegating it to a color, it kind of fucks us up. So we have to ask ourselves, what is black? What is black? I don't see black as a color. I see it as the essence. See, I'm going to use the color spectrum, but I'm not really talking about color because when you look at color on the spectrum, it's the encompassing of all. White has no color in it. It has no essence in it. It's empty. You feel what I'm saying? Like if you look at refracted light, it's like when something is black, if you study it from the physics standpoint, when something has a color to it, that means every other color is absorbed into that, and that particular color is reflected off. That's why you see that color. You feel what I'm saying? So from the light spectrum, light fragments. But black, every color is absorbed. That's why you see every color mashed together. You feel what I'm saying? So black is the encompassing of all. You feel what I'm saying? It is the encompassing of all. So when I speak on black, I speak on it metaphysically as an essence. It is the encompassing of all. And we encompass all. You feel me? but it's not from the color of the skin. It's the essence of our souls. And it happens to manifest in that. Damn, that shit just hit on a different level, because if you actually see it metaphysically, if we do call ourselves the soul, our souls are light, and we are light bodies, when our light encompasses everything and it reflects off, we absorb everything, so therefore we have to be black. So when the empty soul does not absorb anything, that light does not absorb anything, and it reflects everything, it becomes white. But that's a different conversation. I'm sticking to blackness. You feel me? Not blackish, blackness. So even that can have its connotations into it, because if you're blackish, that means you're just a piece of the essence, not the full essence. Yo, I see what ABC doing. I see what y'all doing there. But anyway, so what is it to be black? You feel what I'm saying? As black people, we have essence, we have rhythm, we have soul. Like we love to say that we're soul people, like, you know what I mean? Because it's the encompassing of all. It's not just the color. The color is the physical manifestation. So that's why I be like, when people talk that shit, well, what about black on black crime? And we argue with them. What about white on white crime? It's like, there's no black on black crime. You feel me? For one, it's crimes of proximity. We know that. But at the same time, what we're talking about is black skin with Caucasian essence. That is the crime. We don't want to put that into the context. We have assimilated into the Caucasian culture. We have accepted their essence as our own. Therefore, it doesn't matter what the skin is. We're going to embody that. So when we look at the collective of why, it's like, why are white people so against us? Because we're the ones who our essence couldn't be stripped away. So when you look at the Black Panthers, when you look at Malcolm X, when you look at these people, their essence is black. Their essence is still African. You know, even us that are, you know, indigenous, that say we're, you know, indigenous, like, I don't deny that. Like, when I talk about having Indian in my family, I have Indian in my family based off the essence that they were black people. You know, my mother's side of the family comes from the Lumbee, Red Springs area of North Carolina, and those people are black. They're black, like they look like me. You feel what I'm saying? But I also have that Africoid essence too, so that submerged, but I'm still the black essence. Like, we understand the ships. Like we say, some of us were here before slavery. Some of us don't want to connect to that part of the history of slavery, so we'll say we were here before slavery, just to whatever. But at the end of the day, where do we come from? Came from Mama Africa still. And it didn't matter where I went. When I lived in Dominica for a year, the people thought I was them until they heard me speak, because I looked just like them. So I was like, it's an essence, bro. It's an essence. It's not a color. It's an essence. And that essence manifests differently. You feel what I'm saying? It manifests into our features. It manifests through our genetics, and it manifests in our ability to have rhythm, our improvisation skills naturally. You know, we can freestyle at anything, not just like rapping, but freestyle at anything. We can improv on the spot and create shit just right there with, you know, the natural essence that exudes within us. So black is an essence. It's not a color. It's an essence. It's the encompassing of all, and it manifests within that color. So then, like I said, we can go back to the color spectrum, and the frequency of the color black, the essence of black, is the highest frequency on the color chart. So they give you Roy G. Biv: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. What's above violet? Purple becomes black. Like, and here's the thing about it. When the frequency increases, the wavelength shortens. When the wavelength shortens, it gets darker. That's why it goes from red to orange to yellow to green, blue, indigo, and violet. The energy starts to increase. The frequency starts to increase. The wavelengths get shorter, and it becomes darker and darker and darker and darker. That's why if you look at the seven chakras go from root to crown. Root is red, crown is purple. What's above the crown? You know, I did a podcast episode and I did a YouTube series on colors specifically and the frequencies of them. And I was discussing how, you know, no, not colors, it was consciousness. It was the 360 degrees. You know, you get to a point where people start talking about the blackness, the triple blackness. You get to a point where you get engulfed in it. After you transition out of the purple, which is the crown chakra, when you go above that, you go into blackness. You have blacker, because you have 12 chakras. You have the 7 in your body, you have 5 outside of your body, but then you have consciousness associated with those. You have the finite consciousness, which is your first first chakra to your ninth chakra. And then you have the infinite consciousness, which is your 10th, 11th, and 12th chakras, right? So when we look at 360 degrees, we have two forms of that, the square and the circle, because both of those measure to 360 degrees. You dig what I'm saying? So the first 9 are finite, which is the square, and then the last 3 are infinite, which is the circle. So the infinite consciousness is blackness, double blackness, and triple blackness. But within the 9 that are finite, you have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, black, and blacker. You feel me? And then it transitions into blackness, right? So the 360 degrees of consciousness. But I'm not going to talk about that because that goes a little bit deeper than the scope of what we're talking about. So from understanding that, we understand that, within the conscious realm of ourselves, we have a capacity for two polarities of 360 degrees. You feel what I'm saying? So we have a dual essence to be black. You have the black and then you have the essence, the blackness. You feel me? And that's what we embody. That's what we embody. And that's what white supremacy is against. The skin is what I don't see color. Yes, everybody sees color, but they feel essence. They feel essence. And our essence it exudes. It exudes. It's so powerful. We don't even know subconsciously what we're doing. This is why, because we have not been in tune with our essence, we can't be around each other when our essences are starting to manifest themselves. You don't believe me? Go into a room. Put about 5 or 6 black people in the room. It starts to get hot when we're vibing. I don't care how cold it is. I don't care how much AC you put on. We start to get hot. Do you know why? Because our essences are exuding. Even in biblical terms, when you look at how the Bible says, where 2 or 3 come together in my name, I will be there. And we think it's talking about God. That's why I tell people it's levels to your religious doctrine. You have the mythology, the ritual, and the allegory, right? That allegorical principle of where 2 or 3 come to my name, I will be there is when that collective consciousness comes together. That's God consciousness. And it comes into that point. So this is why our rooms get hot, because our essences are exuding. Now, in that same breath, this is also why white people can't be around us in small rooms. It's like being near the sun. We think white people are getting uncomfortable grabbing their purses and shit like that because, they feel our essence. And of course, your essence is going to manifest and come out a lot stronger with emotion and shit like that. But our essence naturally exudes. And because we absorb and we just transmute the energy back and forth between each other, they can't absorb it. They can't absorb it, and it can get uncomfortable for them, which is why it gets uncomfortable for them. So that essence, they can't be around. You dig what I mean? That essence, they can't be around. And we don't know that that's why we get hot in a room like that when everybody's on one accord and vibing and shit. Like, I've been to events where, it's just all black people in there. And the longer we talk, the longer we vibe, the more comfortable we get, the more we start laughing, it starts to get real hot. Like when we have cookouts and shit, the house gets hot. We don't even we think it's the stove or the fact that the door might be open. Nah. Because that same temperature, those same factors were there before everybody started coming over. But when everybody comes, the family's on one accord, God has entered the building because 2 or 3 have come to my name, come together in my name. We have the collective consciousness has been there. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's basically on the same frequency. And that energy starts to manifest itself. And we're able to transmute it back and forth between each other. It's a beautiful fucking thing because it's blackness. It's our essence. You dig what I'm saying? So when we put that onto perspective, I'm going to talk about more from the physical and biological perspective in a little bit. But when we talk about that, this next part is going to get very touchy. It's going to get very touchy to some because when people say, okay, well, what's the difference between a mixed person with lighter skin and a light-skinned black person? There's 2 totally different things. Because a mixed person has 2 essences running through them. The light-skinned person is still one essence. That is just the lighter form. And I'm gonna talk about that when I get to the topic on melanin. If you've already heard my melanin episodes and my shit on melanin, you know pretty much where I'm gonna go with that. But if you haven't, I got something for you. So, mixed people are not black. If you're mixed and you're listening to this, it is what it is. Like, I get they say either you are who your father is, or, I'm half this, I'm half that. You're 2 essences, not colors. You're 2 essences. So just because your skin manifests, as, maybe light skin, from being mixed, it's not the same as light skin from being black. They're two different things, but we're relegated to the colors and not the essences. So mixed people are dual essenced people, right? Which is crazy because it's not crazy, but if you're down with the swirl, you're down with the swirl, but you're swirling and mixing essences. So our ancestors, see, so when people say, even if you look in the biblical aspect, it says don't mix with the other nations. Like cultures, they say do not mix with other people. We think race mixing is a good thing, and it's not, because you're mixing essences of people. This is why it's so detrimental when you're looking at the essence of what came from a slave and the essence of what came from the master. Those two essences are now infused in one being. How can the God and the devil be walking hand in hand in the same thing? You feel what I'm saying? It's different points. It's different polarities. And I get it. People say, well, my parents weren't racist because they, my mom married a black man or whatever the case. Like, look at the shit. Like, there's so many quote unquote women that are, Caucasian women that are out there talking about, and all they talking about is dick. How they love black dick. They don't love the essence because they can't feel the essence. On a basic level, they don't even have the same rhythm. So we don't have the same essence. And I have a homeboy. He's mixed. I fucks with him. We cool people, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's rhythmless. I'm like, yo, you black, you got black in you, but you have no rhythm. Because what essence really dominates? What essence really takes over? And that's the essence you're around the most. That's the essence you're around the most. Most of his essential family is the Caucasian side that he hangs around, but he's a mixed person. So it's like when you're mixed, you have created a duality within yourself from two different essences. You feel what I'm saying? Two different essences. One essence that encompasses everything and one essence that does not encompass anything at all. Like I said, take it back to the colors from the metaphysical aspect. Black is the encompassing of all. White is the absence of all. So when they tell you, it's very, very honest when they tell you that white people, we're the pure race. You're the empty race. Pure is empty. Pure has nothing in it. So we look at these terms, and a lot of times because we put emotion to them, like a black person by definition is impure. We're fully impure because we have absorbed and taken in everything. Caucasians are pure because they have nothing. This is not me being funny. This is not me being rude. This is just what the reality is. You feel what I'm saying? The essence of being white means that you encompass nothing. But the essence of being black is to encompass all. So now, when you have both of those essences running through you, and once you are a mixed person, you are a mixed being. You feel me? You are no longer an impure being, and you are definitely not a pure being. But you're mixed. You have the impurities of two different dynamics. And now that affects every aspect of your psychology, your mentality, your emotionality, everything. You feel what I'm saying? This is why when we look at why are black people so compassionate, we encompass everything. Why can white people do some shit and it just like they have no souls? It's not that they don't have souls. Their light doesn't absorb anything. Therefore, they can maliciously kill you and not think twice about it. You feel me? And I get, they be like, yo, they love dogs and shit like that or whatever the case may be. But it's whatever. That's a whole different topic. But at the same time, like I said, when I talked about the one of my recent podcast episodes, when I was talking about pheomelanin, they share pheomelanin with the animal kingdom. We don't. We have eumelanin, which is something I'm going to talk about in a second. But mixed people are not the same. You're not black. And I'm not, kicking you out or saying, you're not one of us. If you stand for us and you rock with and you decide that you chose to pick was the black essence, cool, I fucks with you for that. But you are not black because you have two different essences infused within you. You don't have the single essence. You feel what I'm saying? So now that takes it to the point of being light-skinned. You're fully black, mama black, daddy black, and now you're light-skinned. There's no race mixing within your lineage, but you're just light-skinned. That is a reality. That can happen. That does happen. But that doesn't mean you're mixed. That doesn't mean that, because you can look at a mixed person And then you could look at a light-skinned person. They can literally be the same complexion, but you can literally see that one person is black and one person is mixed. Why? Because the essences have manifested themselves. You feel what I'm saying? They have manifested themselves. And that is going to be manifested within the features. See, the mixed people, they start to have the blurred features. You feel what I'm saying? The dominant, like this is why they shot the nose off the Sphinx. Right? This is why they were sure to shoot the nose off the Sphinx and damage the lips and everything like that. Because a part of the physical manifestation is lips, eyes, and nose. Lips, eyes, and nose. Most black people have bigger eyes. We have bigger, rounder eyes, for a reason, because we have a better ocular vision. We have a higher peripheral vision. We have bigger eyes. You know what I'm saying? We have, distinct eyes. Okay. In addition to them being brown, and it gets me because everybody, I want green eyes. I want why do you want eyes that don't encompass it? Like blue eyes cannot absorb the full light spectrum. Brown eyes can. Brown eyes do. Green eyes are still selective. They are two different essences of duality or whatever the case may be, but that is a genetic thing. But the point is that when you look at, that dynamic from being light skinned versus being mixed with lighter skin, it's different. It's two different essences that come in together. So our features show that the noses are distinct. You feel what I'm saying? There's a distinct nose structure that we have, there is a distinct lip structure that we have. So now when I tell people say, oh, we're the same on the inside, that can't be, because if you study anthropology, there is a distinct skeletal structure between the Africoid, the Mongoloid, and the Caucasoid. You feel what I'm saying? And within this distinct structure, when your body is developing over your skeletal structure, your nose and your lips and your eyes have to be created within that, within those sockets, within those skulls. Like I see the posts all the time where, it's like they have like 8 skeletons and shit, and they be like black, white, and all. I'm like, it sounds good to a motherfucker who don't know the shit. It sounds good. But then when you know that there is they can find skeletal remains and tell you if the person was black or not. They can find skeletal remains and tell you if the person was white or Asian. But it's only those 3 types of people. So it's like when we look at the brown people, when we look at the black, like what happened? You feel me? Because we start getting relegated to land masses and ethnic cultures and languages and shit. And then we start to define ourselves by that, not the actual essences of what we are and our skeletal structures and who we really are. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's a mix in there. There's a mix in there. And then once you start to dilute the essence. So when we look at the people who have, we putting them on, like, how come they start to get the more Caucasian noses and features and stuff like that. And they want us to eliminate the essence we can't eliminate. What they did to Michael Jackson with his nose, and all of the Jacksons, really, a lot of them, the more popular ones, they went surgery after surgery after surgery to eliminate their African nose, because you can't erase your essence. That's why it be pissing me off when I seen a post and this motherfucker said, Paris Jackson looks just like Michael. Come on, y'all. Come the fuck on. No, she don't. No, she don't. She looked like the surgery that Michael had. She does not look like Michael. That's why I'm like, there's no way in hell those are his kids. But hey, whatever. He adopted them or whatever he did. But he didn't birth them babies. He didn't birth them babies. He did not birth them babies. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, because our essence is too strong. Our essence is too strong. So now, even when they called us 3/5 of a man, let me show you how the essence is so potent that even if they said we were 3/5 of a man, it only takes 1 drop of black blood to make you black. Think about that shit. Because at that point, they know they're talking about the essence. You feel me? The essence of what it was. So the light-skinned people are still black. Mixed people are black and whatever they're mixed with. There's 2 different essences, not skin tones. You feel what I'm saying? And so if you're going to go off the skin, they're black because no, they're mixed. They're mixed, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Like I said, this is not a means to outcast them, because if they pick the side and the black side is what they picked, cool. But this is just reality. You feel me? This is objectivity. This is really what the reality is. You feel what I'm saying? So our light-skinned black people who mama black, daddy black, grandmama black, and all this, like, how did you just come out light-skinned? Because you're still in that vein, which now takes me into the melanin component, right? So melanin, I seen this white person. They said melanin on fleek. The black people slayed her. They slayed her for good reason, but she has melanin. That white person, that Caucasian has melanin too, right? But there's two different types of melanin. You have eumelanin, you have pheomelanin, right? This is why it's good to understand the Latin language just a little bit. You don't have to know it to speak it, but a lot of the scientific culture is based off of Latin language. The medical science, the medical culture, a lot of that scientific side is based off of Latin culture, right? So when you understand the prefixes found in Latin, you start to pay attention to the things. So melanin is the compound that we all have, right? It's what connects us to the sun or disconnects us from the sun. All right, look. The markets are not a difficult place to understand, all right? You just have to know what you're looking at. And there's 5 things that you need to see before you can make any market entry. First, you need a pocket, so you can know which direction the market is going in. Second, you need a pullback, so you can get the better price. Third, you need a battlefield, so you can see when that market movement is slowing down. Fourth, you need the upper hand, so you can see when the market reactivates. And last, you need a final push, so you can see the exact moment when it's time to go with the direction you are already moving in. Okay? Of course, there's so much more that has to go into that, and it's not as cut and dry as that. But those are things that I teach in my Mastering the Market course. So if you would like to learn more, please visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today. Although it is directed and specialized for Forex, all of the skills, I crafted them to be transferable to any market that you're looking at. So again, visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today if you are truly looking to master the market. Oh yeah, and don't forget, while I still got you, you can use promo code QUARANTINE to save over 90% off of the enrollment of the full price of the course. That is QUARANTINE, QUARANTEEN. So that's why when you look at, let's look at the word a lunatic, right? And then when we look at, these are beings who are more infused by the moon. We're solar beings. Caucasians are lunar beings. They tell you all the time in their structures and shit like this. If we really look at the world, we look through the lens of the world while we're supposed to. Black people we mainly operate, we're more viable in the daytime. White people more viable in the nighttime. We're not the same. You feel what I'm saying? Because white people are pheomelanated. Their skin is more connected to the moon. Ours is eumelanated, which is more connected to the sun. Okay, so look at their horror stories or whatnot. Vampires, werewolves, those are very things. Werewolves are hairy Caucasians, really, who act up towards the moon, whatever. But whatever the case may be. But the point that I'm making with that is that the pheomelanin and eumelanin are different. So when you learn that aspect from scientific aspect, eumelanin means true. In the scientific nature, in the scientific culture, when you see a prefix of EU, it means true. Eukaryotes, eumelanin. That's all I'm getting right now. I can just look up some more words that have EU as a prefix. It means true, right? Pheo means false. And the melanin is what absorbs. Eumelanin absorbs the light. What do you think pheomelanin does? It reflects it. You dig what I'm saying? It reflects it. So when we consider that aspect, of it all, if you look at tanning, if you look at why they, put on sunscreen, I seen this dope experiment. They had a commercial where they was putting on the UV black light or whatnot, they was putting on sunscreen. And when these people put sunscreen on, it made them look like they were eumelanated under the light. Black people already looked like it. So there was a sister that put it on, and when she put it on, her skin never changed. But the Caucasian people, their skin literally got darker in that experiment. So it was like, wow, that's what melanin is. So melanin is different for us all. It's different. So now this goes back to when I say mixed people are not black. Mixed people are mixed. If you are a black man, and a black and with the white woman, or you're a white woman, a black woman with a white man, and you have a baby, you now have a baby who has been infused with two essences: melanin mixing with pheomelanin, true melanin mixing with false melanin. Those essences are different, and they manifest differently. They manifest totally differently. So this is why I say that you can have a light-skinned person who's still melanated, and a mixed person with lighter skin could still be pheomelanated. It's different. It's different energies, right? So when we look at melanin, melanin has six, melanin as a whole has six spectrums, right? You have the highest level of melanin, which is 6, which is relegated to black and brown skin, right? Literally, it goes down a color spectrum. Melanin, the 6 melanin is black, right? They call them your blue-black people, right? That's the darkest level of melanin. Then you have 5, which is your dark brown people, which are more so the people that like live in America, Haiti, Cuba, like those black people. They're dark skinned, but you can still see the hint of brown in them. You feel what I'm saying? They're 5s. 4s are people that are like reddish in color. They're like a dark red. So those are like your indigenous peoples and things like that. And then the 3 is yellow, 2 is cream, 1 is pale, roughly about. You feel me? So the 1 is the pheomelanin. 2 up is eumelanin in varying degrees. Okay? In varying degrees. So now it goes different because eumelanin, the template, the differentiating factor between the two, eumelanin is selenium based. Pheomelanin is sulfur based. Different people, different essences, different forms of melanin. So it's different. So when they say it's your skin is different, it's different. So now let's say when the coronavirus hit, and the first thing they said is, they was like, yo, black skin isn't getting it. What they were telling you was that the melanin has a higher resistance to it. Eumelanin has a higher resistance to it than pheomelanin does. So when we look at the pheomelanin, it's not just the Caucasoid person. It's also those lighter skinned, straight haired Asians too. And they're more so connected with the 1. And then the 2s and up are, I would say would be more like, I would say maybe the yellow Asians, the yellow man. Like, people have always said that you have the black man, the brown man, the red man, the yellow man. So when we look at what the black man is, we are the highest point of the melanin scale. The brown man is not in hierarchy perspectives, but the brown man will be next under us. Then after the brown, you get the red man. After the red man, you get the yellow man. After the yellow man, you get the white man. You feel me? Because it has to go according to the varying levels of melanin. Now, this also goes into why the world has been flipped. The world has been flipped on money versus melanin. This is why they don't want black people to have money, because you already got melanin. Their component that is balancing that is the energy of money. You feel what I'm saying? So if you look at the scope, right? Look at the scope. How does it go? It literally goes white to black. You feel what I'm saying? But then it goes not only white to black, it goes man to woman. You feel what I'm saying? So you have the white man, white woman, Asian man, and it goes down like that until you get to the black man, black woman. Nature has that flipped: black woman, black man, brown woman, brown man, on and on, because that's what nature naturally has the proclivity to. This is not to say who's above or who's not, but nature honors that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why when you look at on the money scope alone, we look at, you got white people money. White, like, that's the thing, like that white man, like the man won't let me do this, because from the money scope, we have put that in that perspective. So this also is the reason why the black woman is the most disrespected being on the face of this earth. It's nature's battle that we're going against. You feel me? It's the earthly battle versus worldly possessions, worldly obsession and shit. That is that biggest problem, right? So melanin is that potent, it's that powerful. And our melanin should not be mixed. It should not be diluted. Our eumelanin should not be mixed with pheomelanin, because now what we're doing is we're fucking with an essence. We're fucking with two different essences, and we're making them coalesce with one another, and they don't. They shouldn't. They're not supposed to. You dig what I mean? They're not supposed to. But we make them. We make them connect. You know, it's like, oh, love everybody. I do know, like that's our ancestors left distinct rules not to mix. They said don't mix. Not on any, we didn't say don't mix on the superiority thing. We did it on an essential point. You guys have different essences. We have the essence and the ability to encompass all with people who can't encompass everything we do, everything we are, everything that makes us. And we mix with them. So imagine that, like you're mixing with pheomelanin. What happens to your creation? What happens to what comes after you? And what continues to come after you? You're diluting and you're manipulating the eumelanin that is naturally you. You feel what I'm saying? And that fucks with your reality. Because now, melanin, it affects not just the physical skin. Well, your whole body is skin. Because when you go through embryology, your body is broken down and created from 3 different derm layers. That's why I said understand the Latin, because derm is a Latin word in the medical sciences used to denote skin. So your entire being, your head down to your fingernails and your skeletal structure is created by the endoderm, the mesoderm, and the ectoderm. In basic terms, what that means is the inner skin, middle skin, and outer skin. So your whole being is skin. So if you're eumelanated physically on your skin structure on the outside, you are also eumelanated on the inside. If you're pheomelanated on the outside, you're pheomelanated on the inside. And when it comes to things like neuromelanin, we have a better proclivity to think and have higher impulses within our nervous system, fast twitch systems. We work a lot better than that. You feel what I'm saying? Inner ear melanin, this is why we're able to hear rhythm and we're able to dance and move, because we have that. They don't have that shit. This goes back to the homeboy I said who was mixed and he couldn't dance. He stayed off beat because his pheomelanin dominated. His pheomelanin essence dominated over his eumelanin essence, which affected his inner ear melanin, which means that when he heard the beat, it was delayed or it was coming distorted to where he moved according to what he heard, but it was off. You feel me? But this is why eumelanin is so strong that it doesn't matter what part of the song it's on, we can always hear it. And then our eumelanin is so in tune for like you can have 4 different sounds in a beat in a record or whatnot. One person could be dancing to the drums. One person could be dancing to the hats and the snares, and it can affect you differently. But we can all still be on beat. We could all still be on beat, still listening and connecting to the full song that is being played. That's because eumelanin does that. So now we get into the point where when we consider a lot of the shit, like I've seen like white people, like this is why white people, when we look at the medical field, when we look at the healthcare field and we look at the shit that they do, they say things like, black people have a higher pain threshold. Black people don't experience pain because they understand the essence. You feel me? I'm not saying we don't feel pain. We do. We feel all of that shit. But they have superiorized us while promoting their own superiority. You feel what I mean? So when a black woman is I'm in pain. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not in pain. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, and then it's like our pain thresholds are different. Now that is like our pain thresholds are different. So they understand that science. You feel me? But that doesn't deny that we're not in pain, but we're speaking from 2 different people, because the pheomelanin, being that it's a false melanin, it naturally has that essence to know that with the eumelanin being the encompassing of all, it's stronger. It's stronger. Therefore, they automatically assume that we're so much stronger. So, those points are heavy when it comes to our blackness, and this is a part of the I'm not gonna say the great divide, but the great understanding of what our power really is. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, when we look at light-skinned black people can still register on a melanin scale of 5, or even 4, high 4, and it's eumelanin. You feel what I'm saying? Whereas a mixed person who's half pheo, half eumelanin, they might register on a 2, melanin scale wise, and they can still be the same physical complexion. So when people say shit like, I don't see color, then they're, you can't, but when you start talking about black on black crime, even when you're talking about black on black crime, what you're really saying is that this black skin killed this other black skin. But what was the essence? The essence was what was infused from integration and assimilation and the civil rights movement and all of that shit that came into it. We have a Caucasoid essence with black skin. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where the black on black crime comes. Because if there's the Caucasoid infusion and there's, and that's why it's like I look at people who, when it comes to our businesses and shit like that, that's why I can't do business with black people. They don't want to have the patience for us because Caucasian people don't have the patience. The Caucasian essence, the pheomelanated essence, doesn't have the patience or the tolerance for the eumelanated essence. It's not supposed to. It's in opposition to it. One is true, one is false. One is the truth, one is a lie. Simple. But we have infused into that. So this is why we think white is right. Because of the essence we haven't assimilated into. So black on black crime is a myth. Not only is it a myth, it is actually white on white crime committed against black skin. You feel me? Self-hatred, the barbarianism, all of those things are now tied into black on black crimes. When we talk about that, we got to put it in context. It's not a black essence killing another black essence because black people don't kill black people. The essence of being black will not kill the essence of being black that has recognized it. You feel what I mean? And that's that reality. This is why we have more compassion. This is why we have more tolerance. This is why we have all of that, because we are melanated beings. We have an essence of being black, which gives us the compassion to care for the world. You feel what I'm saying? I seen a post that pretty much encompassed a lot of this. It was like there was two lions. One was dead, one was alive. And there was a white man standing over the lion, smiling with a gun because he shot it. And then there was a black woman walking with a lion. No leash, nothing. She just walking beside it. The lion wasn't trying to attack her or nothing. How? So now you see, when I go back to that scope of money versus melanin, and then you have the white man at the top of the scope when you put it like that, and then when you flip it upside down and go into melanin, you have the black woman there. That's why within this world, within this structure that we have, that has been created and co-opted, the black woman is the most disrespected. It's not because she's at the bottom. She may be at the bottom of the world, being forced to the bottom of the world based off everything that's happening, but she's the top of the earth. I respect that. I give her that. You feel me? This is not to say we're beneath the black woman. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm speaking in terms of how the creation, how we're naturally created. I don't like, take that up with God, Allah, Jehovah, Yeshua, Krishna, Buddha, whoever you pray to, whoever you call to. Take that up with them because that's how they created it. If whatever it is you believe in, you name that shit. But now you can go into the religion and see how religion speaks against being black. The essence. You feel me? The essence. This is why I say, like, we talk about Moses being black, but if he was a black man, was he black by skin or by essence? Because if he was black by essence, he would have never been criticized by Aaron and Miriam for marrying an Ethiopian, because it wasn't the black skin that he married. It was the essence. It was the essence of being black. And that's what all of the religions are against, the essence. The essence. Because you can't convince me any other way. I get that. And that's where a lot of the self-hatred comes in, because when we create these images and we say, oh, I'm creating the image, this is black and he's this, that, and the third, but he hates black people. But these deities hate black essences. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It hates the skin too. So it's like that, what is it? In Songs of Solomon, where one of his wives says, I'm black but comely. She says, I'm dark skinned but cute. You feel me? The self-hatred was already there. So even if we do call this a historical document, even if we do say this is real, the essence of being black was already stripped within those people who are religious, within those biblical forefathers. You dig what I'm saying? So basically, when we get mad at them for saying all lives matter now, but that's what the religion did. That's what the religion did. It automatically put all lives matter in that shit. And speaking of this all lives matter thing, now I go into the point of Black Lives Matter. Because with all of this, when we're defining the blackness, are we referring to, when we say Black Lives Matter, are we only referring to the skin? And here's why I say that. Do I fuck with Black Lives Matter? No, I do not. My motto, my facade, not my because it damn sure isn't an illusion. My motto, my stance, and my standpoint on the shit is Black Matter lives, not Black Lives Matter. You know, because Black Lives Matter, for one, is funded by a Caucasian. So if the Caucasian is willing to fund it, automatically he's not seeing the essence, he's seeing the skin. We can already know that. George Soros is an old white guy. He's racist. I don't care. Anybody, any Caucasian person from 50 and older is racist to me. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. You feel me? And I say that on the strength that when we look at those pictures that they show of them hanging us and there's little kids, and those kids are these people that we're talking about now. These sergeants that are these captains and shit, these people that have been 20, 30-year men and all of that shit. They've been on the force for this. They're 50 years and older, 70 years and older. Like, yes, they're racist. Fuck, there's no way around that shit. There's no way around that shit. They were marching against Dr. King and all. Like, they're racist. I don't care. I don't care. There's no argument with that. So when we look at this 70, 80-year-old billionaire funding Black Lives Matter, what is he funding? Right? And here's why I don't fuck with Black Lives Matter. Because for one, Black Lives Matter is against the straight black male. You feel what I mean? Now, I get it. Everybody want to say it, you know, there's no agenda against, you know, there's no gay agenda. But like, yes, this whole Black Lives Matter movement is about supporting the like, and I get it. They're out there screaming Black Lives Matter when black men die. There's straight black men who have died that they march for, but they don't fuck with straight black men. They don't fuck with straight black men. And this is not me just, you know, speculating, but if you actually go, and I had to have this brought to me, but if you go to the website, the Black Lives Matter official website, go to the About section and read what they are about. They have placed in there, this is written and typed within their About section. This is their mission. This is what when your About section is what your mission is what you and this organization plan to do. They said, we want to, and I'm paraphrasing, we want to disrupt the patriarchal nuclear family. Okay, so we understand what a nuclear family is. It is a father, a mother, and a child, right? Now, I get it. Is it saying, what about the mother too? No, they support the mother. This is why. A couple lines down, it will say, we're here for mothers, parents, trans parents, and, you know, same-sex parents and children. That's what they say they're there for. No man is in that situation. No straight man is in that situation. You dig what I'm saying? No straight man is in that situation. And by there being no straight man in that situation, and them saying they want to disrupt the nuclear family structure, what does that say for the straight black man? You know, they talk about the talks, like, I get it. Well, they could be talking about all of them, but yes, they may be talking about all of them, but this theme is Black Lives Matter. So they're talking about, you know, black men, straight black men. So this is why you get the propaganda. The straight black men is like a white supremacist and all of that shit and all of that. But, whatever. That's not here and there. So Black Lives Matter is referring not to the essence. Well, it's referring, we assume that it's about the color and it's about all black people. But no, the Black Lives Matter is about disrupting the essence of being black. The essence of being black. So now we have to go to, okay, well, how do you disrupt the essence of being black? Well, first thing is you have to stop procreation. Okay? So the entire Black Lives Matter movement, just simple questions. Who started it? George Soros funds it, but who started it? You know, do your research and you'll know who started it. You know, it's written, it's all right there on the About page, but, you know, when you consider the Black Lives Matter. So now, when it's time for Black Lives Matter, what happens is, what do you see? Like, what do you see? They step up when a black man dies, but yet Black Lives Matter is also silent when black women are killed. How? How? How can you be on the front lines every day promoting and saying, hey, we're here for this, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, and you're associating Black Lives Mattering to the death of black men, but the very death of black women is silent. If in fact within your about section, within your mission, you are for, uplifting women, that would make more sense. There's no reason why George Floyd had more attention from the Black Lives Matter movement than Breonna Taylor did. Only one of Breonna, like Black Lives Matter did not put any pressure for Breonna Taylor. Why? Because it's more so, the structure is more so about those that are living, for one, and creating the image to destroy Black men. Being connected to the imagery of destroying straight Black men. You feel me? Now, this could be, I don't want you to feel like I'm just, being biased or whatnot, but this is what their bylaws say. If you want to disrupt the nuclear family, and this, what's funny? What's real funny about it? Disrupting the nuclear family is the same thing, the same exact shit that religion did with spirituality. Because if you're disrupting and dismantling the quote unquote patriarchal nuclear family, which is the father, the mother, and the child, what else did that shit? Religion, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So religion took the woman out. Now this movement's taking the man out and the woman simultaneously, but only conditional women. So they say we're there for single mothers, but the mothers who die, the women who died, they're not as adamant about that, but they're focused on connecting the imagery to when Black men died. That's when it's Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. So now, simultaneously, let's get to the imagery and psychological imprints. Black Lives Matter, connected to a Black man dying. Black Lives Matter, connected to a Black man dying. Black Lives Matter when it's a Black man dead. You dig what I'm saying? When it's a dead Black man, that's when the Black life matters. That's why it's never stopped killing us, no matter how much we plead, because we're talking about the essence, but their movement is not talking about the essence. So no matter how much we plead, the Black Lives Matter, it's connecting with the imagery of Black Lives Matter when it's a dead Black man. Not when it's a dead Black woman or when it's a live Black man, a live straight Black man, So we really got to start to pay attention to that, because now we have to look at, are we looking at the color? Are we looking at the essence? Because everybody swears, I don't see color, but yet they can see Black on Black crime. They can see all these things, but we have to realize that what we're really battling with is that if you support Black Lives Matter, by all means, fuck with you. You feel me? Like I said, I'm fucking with Black Matter Lives. If you Black by default, I fuck with you. But I don't fuck with that movement because of what I know that movement is doing. That movement is purposely against the lives of straight Black men. They don't fuck with us. They do not fuck with straight Black men. You feel me? So you have to really look up that information and come to terms with it for yourself and do what you got to do with that. But you have to understand, when we're doing that, are we attacking an essence, or are we attacking the skin color? And when we're calling ourselves Black and we're referring to ourselves Black and we are affirming these things, are we doing it from the point of Blackness being an essence or Blackness being a color? And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and type it up. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up with that one. Yeah, that just kind of that conversation really just came about because, like I said, I seen somebody disconnect from being Black because they were light skinned. They reconnect with being Black, and they're just like, yo, do we really know the difference between Black as our essence and Black as our color? And what have we really embodied, and what have we really taken on that is ours, and that is what isn't ours? You know what I'm saying? And what are we going to do going forward? What are we really going to do going forward? Are we going to be able to to truly connect and say, okay, we're black because we're black essentially. This is our essence. We are black people as essence, or are we just black as color? Because if we're black as color, then what is our essence? What has our essence been? Civil rights movement, integration, all of this assimilation and shit has fused us into the culture. So is our mentality, is our essence blackness, or are we just black skin with white essences? And is that what we're striving to be? The black skin with the white essence, the black skin with the Caucasian essence, the black skin with the pale-melanated essence? Or are we going to be true? You know, are we going to be true? That's just, you know, where I stand with that. I pretty much said all I need to say and everything like that. And like I said, y'all know, this just seemed profanity. You know, I talk shit. I do that shit. But at the end of the day, it's something for you to think about, something for you to really consider, and, you know, really evaluate how you've been viewing yourself as black. Are you black from the essence, or are you black from the color? You know, how you know which essence you're from? How do you view your black people? You know, are you one of those who, you know, when you get frustrated, that's why I don't do business with black people, forgetting the fact that, you know, everybody else had a head start and you still give those people the benefit of the doubt to fuck your shit up, but black people don't get that same standard or that same patience? Where do you stand with that? What's your essence? You really got to start to consider that. You know, when you ask, like, are you asking discounts from your black people's businesses because you think, you know, it should not be worth that much? Where's your essence at? You dig what I'm saying? It's little things like that we got to really start to consider. You know what I mean? That are actually really big things. But that's not here nor there. I'm a black man, essentially and color-wise. I fuck with black people, essentially and color-wise. You know, I fucks with money because, you know, I need it in this function. But my scope is off the melanin scope, so I know who's at the top. I know who's at the bottom for me. And that's what that is. I don't see that equality shit because we're not equal. We can harmonize and balance with the people in this earth, but we're not equal. We weren't created equal. We would be the same. But that's not here nor there. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody has their own individual role within the ecosystem of the world, so it's different. But as far as when it comes to being black, I'm black. Essence-wise, I'm black color-wise. Even if I do have a brown skin complexion, that shit doesn't matter to me. I'm a black man. Black. I'm black. Damn it. You know. So that's where I stand with it. We need to elevate above, you know, the skin color and start to tap back into our essence and start to honor our essence and realize, are we even moving from our essence? Because if we're not, we have to face that and we have to deal with that too. All right. So with that being said, I got a few other things I got to do for the rest of the day. So I will see y'all on the next episode. Oh, be sure to follow me on Instagram, _just_scene_. Visit me at IamJustScene.com if you want to sign up for the next trading webinar, get my books and everything. It's all listed there. I do accept tips and donations, and I appreciate everybody who tips, donates, and sponsors the channel, the station as well. If you are looking to do so, you can just click the link in the description of your podcast, and you can support as much as you would like. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one out. Embrace your blackness. If you don't embrace it, that's your business too. But at the same time, we need to go beyond seeing it as a color and learn to see it as an essence. All right. So as always, kiss your babies. You know, make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.